This is Greg Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're very pleased to be joined again by Dr. Anil Sharma, the CEO and the founder of GMS, to discuss trends in the ship recycling business. Dr. Sharma, to start, can you give us an overview of the ship recycling market as you see it today?
Thank you, Greg. First of all, thanks for having me here again. It's good to see you, and hope everyone is safe. Ship recycling, where do I start? Let's start with prices, because that's the news of the hour. I mean, we are at about 70% of record numbers in the ship recycling market. What I mean is 2008, right before this big crash in global economy. That's when the markets hit all-time record highs, and in price of per ton basis, it was about $800 per ton. We have reached almost 70% of that figure, which the peak, the highest ever in history of ship recycling. We are now second already, and so there is a lot of how to discussions in the market. Have we peaked? Or is there more room? Are we going to reach 2008? Are we going to surpass 2008? Or is our markets going to start regressing? And I think for us in this business, we ourselves are paying a lot of attention to various fundamentals to see, especially commodities, to see how the commodities are reacting. As you know, copper went to record high, and again, it fell down by about $1,000. We are looking at steel markets. So my personal view is I think we are close to, if not at peak. But when I spoke with you about 3 months ago, I was pretty much of the same opinion that we had the record numbers. We are about 20% higher since then. So it's these markets are on a tear and totally unprecedented in terms of prices. In terms of facilities, all markets, Turkey, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, the 4 major markets, all are doing very well, are very active. And so the capacity is quite well. So, it's very bullish right now, if I would say, in the shipping market. It's good times.
Well, yes, good times indeed, particularly if you own a container ship these days. That's for certain. So specifically then, what are you seeing? Where are you seeing the most activity by vessel type?
I think the biggest activity we are seeing is in tankers. When we spoke earlier, tankers, there was not too much movement in that area. I see a lot of movements now coming in tankers. There is still some movement in offshore. Still a lot of offshore vessels coming in. Some dry bulk as well, believe it or not. But these are the really old tonnage. We are talking about ships that are, well past 25 years old, that are coming to the market. The VLOCs, I think when I spoke with you maybe 3 months ago, we saw the last of the VLOCs being scrapped. We are not going to see many of those come in. And to some extent, what I'm seeing is we also have gone through the cruise ships. I'm not seeing too many more cruise ships come in, but gas is coming, especially LNGs. There are several vintage LNG carriers that are being scrapped right now. So if I would recap, it's primarily tankers, offshore, dry bulk, and gas. These are the primary sectors that we see. No containers, as you said earlier. We are not going to see containers for some time now.
So again, I know you touched on it briefly in the introduction, but the last time that we spoke, prices were at a historic high. Where are they today?
Surpassed that. So as I said, we are just earshot of now 2008 peaks. These are cycles. When we spoke last, Greg, in March, after 2008, we had another 2011. When the prices had come close to where we were when we spoke in March. Again, we saw that in 2014, after 3 years. So you had 2008, 3-year gap, 2011, 3 years gap, 2014, and then prices never came back up. And so when we spoke in 2017, we were back to those numbers. So 2008, after that, 11 and 14. But what we are seeing today, having gained another 20%, now we have surpassed 2011 and 14. And now we are at, coming closer to the 2008 peaks, which to us as in the ship recycling business is quite scary and also exciting.
Obviously, COVID continues to have a global impact on all industries, though in some regions, particularly in New York, where I sit, there is that light, that proverbial light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Can you give some insights on how COVID continues to impact shipwright recycling from two angles? Logistically, from getting crews and ships in place, and from the perspective of the ship recycling yards themselves?
Well, for us in the ship recycling is still is not good from that front because taking your second question first from the ship recycling sector, as you know, India is going through tough times. Hopefully, at least the worst of the second wave seems to be over, but still things are not very good. The flights still there is freezing of flights. We cannot take any Indian crew out of India. The recycling markets are open, thankfully. Recycling yards are open, thankfully. The workers are well protected, so we don't have too many incidents there. But from the perspective of the Indian subcontinent, especially India suffered really severe consequences. So that's been said. The good news is, I think just as recent as yesterday, the Indian government announced now free vaccines to all citizens. So I think that's a very aggressive campaign. It had record number of 8 vaccinations, I think 8 million vaccination shots. And so I hope that is one way of coming back out of this mess. From logistics perspective, still the news is not positive. We can't still change crew in Singapore. China is still under shutdown. I don't know if you're aware of this. It's still under pretty much all quarantines. We can fly, any crew in or out. If a ship has to go into dry dock, that's a real problem. We can send superintendents in there to supervise. So from that perspective, COVID still has a very severe negative impact from both logistics and markets, perspective.
Okay, well, again, Dr. Sharma, I truly do appreciate your insights. I look forward to talking to you again.
Thanks, Greg. It was good to be here.